Sorry it took so long. Then I just felt a lot more tired when I got home, so I just went and took a nap. So, uh, damn it, it's Thursday. Is it Thursday already? No, it is not. I don't know why. I don't know why you think that. I don't know why you think that. It is definitely not Thursday. Um, yeah, I don't get the joke. Anywho, um, so let's see. Where should we start? We could start by rereading the chapter, or we could see some of the stuff that people sent me. So for instance, Crumpy was sharing some stuff with me. One thing I found interesting that I wanted to share really quick is that remember this chapter that I was referring to, chapter 172. Well, if you look closely at the words and how they're played out, they look lyrical. The words here look lyrical. So I think it's really fucking interesting that they use the same exact pun here, and conveniently, Minnie tells Kazuya his confession sounds like lyrics, and then boom, suddenly you go back to the chapter that is called a very similar thing to this arc. Right, it's called a very similar thing to this arc, and conveniently, the cover page literally looks like it has lyrics. That's kind of wild. Now, I do want to check something. Oh my god, yeah. So yeah, this one is called The Boyfriend and the Date. That one you can clearly see. Or wait. I'm fucking up. Give me a sec. Yeah, so you can see. So this is I believe this is date, um, or something like that. And then when we go to this we were just looking at, you can see it right here, and then there's the question mark. So it's literally spelled the same way. And then right here it says Kanojo, and then I believe right here it says Karishi, right? And Karishi. So that is interesting. That's quite interesting, especially considering most of the arcs have been called Karishi, so boyfriend. It's been a lot of boyfriend. When Umi and Kazuya meet, it's like intentionally the vague wording where it says boyfriend or he, him. So who's he, him, and who's the boyfriend? You don't know. Then almost all the arcs that precede this are literally the boyfriend framed arcs. Few of them are actually like the girlfriend arcs. So let's count these really quick. Now it's got me curious. Okay, so boyfriend, ex, the girlfriend and the school bag, the boyfriend and his guilt, the boyfriend and the boyfriend, the first time with the girlfriend, it's not mine, it's the girlfriend. Um, yeah, there's a lot of they've been having a lot more boyfriends present. I find it really interesting that the first chapter where Kazuya changes his hair, it's called The Boyfriend in His Daily Life. And then ever since then, it's been more the boyfriend. Slowly but surely, the boyfriend is taking over. I think that's a really interesting direction that is being placed here on the wording of the titles. Uh, Two streams. Yeah, I already said I would. Someone wasn't paying attention. Oddly fitting, Wiz. You seem to be coming to your own conclusions for a lot of the things that are happening. It's funny that you're like, oh, the manga's going in a horrible direction, and that you're the one not paying attention. That's quite funny, honestly. I see a meme of a guy asking AI if this mushroom is edible, and the AI said yes. Then the AI apologized in front of the grave, saying the mushroom is poisonous and it made a mistake. Kazuya in a nutshell. See, this is how you know this meme is false, because the AI would never apologize. This is how you know it's false, because the AI would never apologize. This shit wouldn't happen. Still, what's with the boyfriend of the boyfriend with Umi? Still confusing on the title choice. I've already explained it. Kareshi, the way it's written, the way boyfriend is written, and the way girlfriend is written is intentionally vague. It's the same with both boyfriend and girlfriend. The titling is intentionally vague because it can be read three different ways. One, boyfriend. Two, he. Or three, him. So you could literally be saying guy. So you could say that guy, or he, or him, or boyfriend. So when the titling is boyfriend and boyfriend, it's intentionally vague. Because who's the boyfriend? Are they both the boyfriend? What's going on? The framing, the wording choice is intentional because it's literally leaving it vague on purpose. You could literally just read it he and he. Or you could read it as boyfriend and boyfriend. And it's intentionally left vague. It's by design. And that's a thing that permeates the entire arc with Umi and Kazuya, where Kazuya is literally having a clash with himself and there's literally two hims. Just as Umi is literally like you have your own perception of Umi and then you have actually Umi. And those are two completely different things. You have Kazuya's perception of Umi and you have the actual Umi. So let's see. The farm is over 1 hour away from Tokyo. Getting there by car is the best way. The roads are narrow and bad weather could close it, from what info I could find. Ooh, that's interesting. So, okay. Speaking of the farm, so Crumpy sent me a link. This is the actual link you can click for the place. So it's a real place you can click on. And if you, so there it is, Mother Farm, we can actually go there. Oh, look, a field of flowers. He sent me this too. Okay, let's look at this. A field of flowers. What flowers are these? Mother Farm, Nymphalia flowers. Nymphalia. Okay, let's look up the Nymphalia flowers. So those flowers probably have a meaning. Hana Kotaba. Okay, let's go to Hana Kotaba and look up the meaning of the flower Nymphalia. So this is the specific Japanese meaning, not just whatever the fuck you're going to look up on AI. Okay, the Nymphalia flowers. Now, we haven't actually seen these. The only reason I'm checking this is because the teaser for next time is Field of Flowers. And I think Kazuya will see this and think to himself, oh, this is the perfect place to confess. So let me translate this. English. The language of Nymphalia flowers is success everywhere, loveliness, and I forgive you. Ah, how interesting. How fascinating. Now, isn't that interesting? Success everywhere, loveliness, and I forgive you. How fascinating. Oh, Reiji is gonna show these flowers 2000%. Oh, this is not subtle at all. Oh, this is so in your face. This is so in your face. Oh, it's so fucking there. And then the English meaning is success everywhere. Okay. This is really interesting. Okay. Let's see. Spring flowers. Flower colors include blue, white, and purple. Success everywhere. Lovely. I forgive you. Okay. So this is fascinating. Origins of the flower name. The genus name Nymphalia originates from the Greek words nemos, small forest, and phileo, to love. Okay, this is literally Minnie's name. This is literally Minnie's name. Minnie's name literally means eightfold forest. Minnie has a blue motif. Isn't this really fucking interesting? Reflecting the fact that the wild species grows naturally in bright sunny spots on the outskirts of a forest. So literally what Reiji is seemingly setting up is that they have to literally traverse a forest to reach the Nymphalia field. It's literally what I call. They're going to have to traverse some sort of forest. There's literally a metaphor here. They're traversing a fucking forest. They have to traverse a forest. Because of its appearance, blue flowers with white centers, it's called baby blue eyes in English. The flower meaning lovely is said to originate from its charming appearance. Native to North America, it produces blue flowers with white centers around April and May. It is the most common species. Oh, that's that particular species. Okay. Oh, are they all just native to North America? How interesting. Native to North America, it blooms in April or May with white petals that have 5 purplish. Okay. It originated from North America. Okay, this seems very intentional that this flower originated from North America when Kazuya's been literally looking up Western films. Okay, this is so intentional. So much of this is literally like Kazuya looking up Western films. Um, are they gonna go to the States? Huh. Now it's got me really curious. Okay, so Kazuya looked up a bunch of American films. Um, they, huh. Kazuya looked up a bunch of American films. Now, the flower Nymphalia specifically comes from America. How weird. How weird. Now, at one point, Reiji did mention wanting to go to Hawaii. So I think that would be interesting to actually literally go to Hawaii. That's something I could see. Hawaii is a very common destination for the Japanese. So it's not, um, no, because Reiji didn't want to, what? Reiji didn't want to what? Us? Oh, you mean he didn't go to the US? He's been traveling more. He's going to Germany soon. He's going to Germany soon. He's been traveling more. Um, mm, and yeah, I don't think he went to the US anytime soon. Although Hawaii is quite possible. So we'll see. I'm not sure. Um, yeah, I don't know. I think one thing Reiji is definitely tackling is the contrast between Western culture and Eastern culture, in particular American culture versus Japanese culture. Um, and how Kazuya is seemingly approaching this is very like how many is like there's a lot of references to America, you know, like specifically America, nowhere else, you know, like, and I think that's really fascinating because you have many, for example, talking about the Kardashians. You have Minnie and Chizuru talking about the Battle of the Exes, which is specifically an American thing. You have Kazuya's a whole motif of love confessions that all come from American films, every single one without exception. You have now you have these flowers that are also American. You have Kazuya referencing what's her name, Paris Hilton, which isn't she a pretty famous American celebrity? Like, I think she's an American celebrity. Where's Paris Hilton from? Yeah, American media personality. So I do think what Reiji is writing is this contrast between the American culture that has seemingly it literally says is an American media personality, associate, and businesswoman. It's literally from Wikipedia. It's right there. It's right there. I'm sorry. Anyways, yeah, she was born in New York City. Yeah, she's American. Um, so I think that's really fascinating. That's how the arc literally started. And what's more fascinating is that and this might be like a little random for you guys. Driving culture is a lot bigger here than it is like in Japan. You know, in Japan they mostly take trains and stuff. Most of the times, like when you're watching anime and shit, people are just taking trains. They're not really driving. There is driving. It's not that driving doesn't fucking exist in Japan. It is there, but driving in America is a lot more common. In fact, you almost need to drive in the United States. It's almost like a common fucking necessity. Whereas in Japan, driving isn't a necessity. You have access to a lot of railways and trains and a whole bunch of stuff that like you're not limited to simply driving. You don't need to drive. You can maybe even grab a taxi from somewhere. It's so much more accessible to travel in Japan than it is in the United States, which is very restrictive. Like the roads are literally designed so you have to drive. So that's another thing that I think is fascinating. So this brings me back to this idea that I was talking about with the contrast between like how we see things and how things are actually happening. In particular, if we go back to chapter 386, which is in my opinion where the arc truly starts, which is called The Boyfriend and the Kiss. There you go. It's literally called The Boyfriend and the Kiss. That further adds to my theory that I was just describing. How does it start? It literally kind of feels like a weird American movie. You know, it literally feels like a weird American movie, but that's contrasted by the literal visuals that we're seeing. So there's literally this constant contrast between what we're actually seeing and what's happening. And so much of the story is literally like about perception and how our perception is blinding us. And so much of it is being looked at from, I would argue, kind of an American lens, where we're looking at it from, you know, the scandalous American lens that we do. Because if you guys don't know, like there is a very deep-rooted American-like culture in Japan. Because America, in many ways, does control Japan. They have a lot of control over Japan. So there is definitely like this element deeply rooted in it that I think Reiji is 100% talking about here. And I'm not even trying to be political here. This is just a fact. Like there is absolutely a American influence in Japan, 100%. All of our movies get fucking sent to Japan. All of our movies are big there. Everybody knows about America. Everybody knows about this place because America is in many ways considered the center of the world. But there's a big influence of American culture in Japan, despite Japan being so much smaller. So that's definitely a thing that's relevant here that I think Reiji is kind of trying to explore. I don't know to what degree he's trying to explore it right now. But the fact that this is like, if this was just one random thing, you know, if it was just the Nymphelias, I'd be like, okay, whatever. You know, it's just okay. It just happens to be a flower that's like relevant to this, you know. But then you go and look at like literally every other thing. You know, the fact that he's constantly referencing celebrities. The fact that even before this arc started, he was referencing movies like The Shining. You know, he referenced Finding Nemo. He referenced Bambi. A lot of these movies are made by Disney, which is an American company. You know, you have The Shining. The Shining is not made by Disney. The Shining is not made by Disney. But for example, he also referenced The Matrix. So much of this stuff is literally Western inspired. Reiji openly said one of his biggest inspirations for Rent a Girlfriend is Breaking Bad, and the writers of Breaking Bad that he like very religiously follows. He like religiously follows Breaking Bad's writers. And the directors and everything. So, for example, he watched Better Call Saul, and you can definitely see the influence of Better Call Saul and its writing in stuff like the Hawaiians arc or the Shiyunji family, where the way Better Call Saul is written is just a very slow burn. Better Call Saul is a really slow burn. It has that pacing that people would consider bad pacing, right? Better Call Saul literally has that pacing that people would consider bad pacing. And yet, when you get to like the 6th season, it literally like rewrites all the previous seasons. I think it's like the 6th and the 5th. When you get to those like later seasons, they like literally rewrite the early seasons. So that way, suddenly the pacing is actually not bad anymore. Suddenly, you're looking at this from a completely different lens. Suddenly, the story is completely different, and these past seasons, which felt slow and boring and tedious, actually end up being brilliant for a lot of people. Like, Better Call Saul went from, like, you know, just kind of a whatever spinoff for a lot of people to, holy shit, this is one of the best written shows I've ever seen. I'm not even fucking kidding with you. That's how a lot of people perceive that show. In that same way, Reiji's absolutely leveraging a lot of the writing from Better Call Saul with Kazuya right now. In particular, how Saul literally transforms and becomes a completely different person. You know, when people started the story, When people started Better Call Saul, you know, his name was Jimmy. By the end of it, you know, at the very beginning of it, everyone is like, I want Saul. Where's Saul? Saul is cool. I want Saul. I don't want Jimmy. Jimmy's stupid. And then you get to near the end of Better Call Saul, and you're just like, I miss Jimmy. Jimmy was so great. I miss him. Bring him back, please. That's kind of like literally how it feels by the end of Better Call Saul, because suddenly you're like, Saul's a terrible fucking person. I don't like this guy. You literally miss this character you thought you didn't want. They made you retroactively miss this character, and that's again, writing like that is very much being leveraged here. He also recently saw Pluribus, and he literally wrote a review for Pluribus, and he's like, it's really interesting. I'm really fascinated by this different direction. I'm you know, it hasn't fully clicked with me yet, but I'm kind of vibing and I'm curious where they're gonna take it. And he literally says, like, I look up to these writers. So Rent a Girlfriend is very heavily influenced by Western writing, in particular American writing. You know, good American writing, not everything. He doesn't vibe with everything. He actually has a lot of like shows and movies he doesn't really click with. So that definitely has me curious. You know, that definitely has me curious. There, like, Reishi even nodded to a lot of American things in the movie arc, or not the movie, or not the movie. Well, of course, the fucking movie arc. I was referring specifically to The Date, where in The Date, there's something, Kazuya wears a specific shirt when he asked Chizuru out in chapter 316, and we literally found out, like, I ended up looking it up. The shirt that Kazuya wears when he asked Chizuru out, it's literally an American shirt. The shirt, and I don't mean like it's just written in English, like Good Things Take Time. It's not just written in English. The brand is literally American. This is literally an American brand made shirt. So there's a part where Reiji depicts Kazuya as playing American football. Yeah, there's but like before it was just like, you know, it felt more like a nod to American culture. Now it feels like it's very, very direct. Now it feels like it's very, very direct, and it's like, no, I'm trying to talk about something very specific. And I think Reiji is very, very much wants to talk about the sensationalism of American culture. How we literally sensationalize fucking everything. There isn't a goddamn thing we don't sensationalize. And it's very, very unhealthy, and it's definitely something that bleeds into Japanese culture. And how they do this too. You know, Japanese, I would argue Japanese and American culture are so fascinating because they're literally two opposite ends of the extremes that end up looping back into the same thing. So Japan's whole thing, Japan's extremism, they have their own version of extremism, is literally collectivism. You know, Japan's issue is that they have a lot of collectivism in their culture, collectivism that loops all the way back to being selfish. You know, and with us, with Americans, our whole issue is that we're too individualistic. There's a lot of Americans who are just taught to be incredibly individualistic, just don't give a shit about anyone else. But guess what? That selfishness loops back around to not giving a shit about anyone. So do you see how in both ways we both become a collective, while at the same time, because of our individualism, we don't connect to anybody? Both cultures result in a lack of connection. When you're too collectivist, you need everyone to conform. When you're too individualistic, in some ways, you literally do need people to conform. And this is why, like, a lot of, like, rich people, like fucking Elon Musk, believe in shit like collective consciousness. Because they literally want you to conform and like make your identity the fucking country, so that way you don't have an individualism of your own. Anyways, I'm not gonna get too political about this, but like the whole point is that both countries have their own versions of divides where we're literally not connected with each other because of our two extremes that loop back into the same issue of being disconnected from other people. Americans are too individualistic. And that results in us not connecting with other people because we're so worried about ourselves. I think that very much applies to Kazuya's character. In many ways, he's literally trapped in Americanism. Americanism. What the fuck does that even mean? Americanism. The great isms. Americanism. What the fuck am I talking about? No. So he's literally trapped in individualism. He's very, very individualistic right now. I would argue Kazuya right now is so individualistic that he's really not seeing other people around him. In some ways, Kazuya literally represents America in some ways. And Americans probably would disagree because they think he's a fucking simp and a loser and all that shit. And yeah, in reality, that's kind of a lot of American culture where a lot of us are kind of losers, you know? Um, Whereas before we used to really like help each other out. Um, I think what's fascinating about that now is that Kazi in many ways represents the individualism that you see in America, where he's so focused on himself that he kind of just doesn't see anyone else. In the opposite extreme, I would argue Minnie in some ways kind of represents Japanese collectivism, where but also like a bit of America, like maybe Kazuya and Minnie are like the mix of the two, where they Minnie tries to get him to conform in her individualism, whereas Kazuya is so individualistic that he's like not seeing the world around him. And then you have Chizuru in contrast, who's very much kind of in the collectivist mindset right now, where she's minding her own business, staying away. She appears very individualistic on the surface, and yet she's literally trying to conform. So in many ways, I would argue like Chizuru's issue is more of like the collectivism issue, whereas Kazuya's issue is more of the individualism issue. I think the reference to America in that regard is really fascinating, and you can glean a lot from that. I think this is something we might need to delve into more at another time. Um, uh, let's see here. So Japanese Twitter was the best as an American because they love the US too. Lol. Yeah. Yeah, no, they absolutely kind of like the US and kind of like bro, if you don't believe Japan doesn't like the US, then you clearly did not listen to Guile's theme from Street Fighter, because that is the like you haven't listened to Captain America's theme from Marvel versus Capcom. You don't understand how much they fucking love Americans because they think we're the coolest shit in the universe. I think a lot of Japanese people like think we're like some of the coolest shit in the universe. But granted, a lot of that is an idealism. They don't actually like us all that much. I think a lot of them like us because of what they think we are, not what we actually are. And it's ironic because that's literally the exact issue Americans have with Japan, where they think it's some sort of magical fucking utopia when it's goddamn not. It's literally fucking not. It's just a place any other, but they happen to have things we literally don't. Just as we have things they don't. So I think that's really fascinating. That I think maybe that's the idea. It's like how America is romanticized and how Japan is romanticized to Americans. I think maybe that's what Reiji's going for. Maybe that's what Reiji's going for. It's how Japanese people romanticize America, which is really fitting if you think about it, because he's writing the Shiyunji family children with the idea of how Japanese people see someone like Elon Musk. And he literally writes the Shiyunji family's dad to be like Elon Musk in the regards that like he literally buys Twitter and changes it to K, and he looks like a good dad, and he's really like sensational, and like he seems like a good fucking person, and somehow he made his money in a single generation, which is literally the lie that Elon has told people for the longest fucking time, that like he somehow made his money all on his own, and he didn't have like a fucking mine he didn't have like a fucking old white family dad who owned a mine in South Africa. like a lot of people probably even now still believe it, that like Elon got his money all on his own. He fucking didn't. He fucking didn't. He literally came from a white rich family. So it's fascinating that the Shiyunji family is written from that perspective, where the dad is literally framed like a millionaire, and how Japanese people see millionaires. And that's literally how Shiyunji family starts. It literally starts with people talking about the dad. You don't actually see him first. You hear about how people are talking about them. You see people explaining how their image looks like, not who they actually are. And I think in that same regard, what Rent a Girlfriend's exploring is, rather than a specific person, it's exploring how cultures can appear so sensationalized from a different perspective when you don't understand the culture, when you don't know anything about it. just as Americans looking at Japanese culture and seeing something like Rent a Girlfriend, which is literally exploring social ideas and concepts of Japanese culture, some of that stuff might completely fly over their heads, just as some stuff they might completely relate to because it's something we both share. So it's both a story exploring how we romanticize things and a story about how we sensationalize and don't understand things, and while at the same time how we can connect on certain aspects. So I think that's what Rent a Girlfriend's like exploring right now. It's like how something like America can appear so fucking sensationalized to people who have never been there. Just as Kazuya sees Chizuru in a very sensationalized manner and doesn't fucking get her because he's looking at her from a lens of like a star, a fucking American celebrity. You know, something, and if you guys understand anything about fucking celebrity culture in America, we put these people as higher than thou. They are like, they aren't just placed on a pedestal. They are like shot to the fucking stratosphere. Celebrities in American culture are something else. You know, we fucking worship the ground they walk on. You guys have like not seen how some of these people are like treated. It's insane. And it's kind of terrifying, honestly. It's kind of terrifying how sensationalized there are. So I think in that regard, in that way, this is, I think, what Reiji's talking about, how we are sensationalizing Chizuru in many ways. And in comparing her to American culture, it is exploring how both Americans sensationalize celebrities and how Chizuru and how Japanese people sensationalize America. And how they look at it from this like, oh my god, it's the greatest thing since fucking sliced bread. When it's fucking not, just as Japanese people look at Japan and they're like, oh, it's the greatest thing since fucking rice. I don't know. Okay. So yeah, that's fascinating. It's literally a black and white perspective. Okay, so let's keep going. So if you wanted to go to that, so interesting. The dates on the farm is 24, 30, and 31, and the dates for this chapter is the 23rd. So he would have to go tomorrow to check the place out. But then, so it sounds like he's okay. What I could see Kazuya doing, because it gave us very specific dates, what's going to happen is next chapter, he might try to go again with Minnie. I could see Kazuya trying to do some like last minute bullshit where he tries to drag Minnie with him to go to this place somehow. And he can't. Maybe he'll try to take Sumi, but it's too far away. You know, I doubt he can take Sumi with him. It's too far away. He wouldn't want to go with Ruka. That's probably a bad idea. So he might go with Mommy. So that's what's interesting. With Sumi, it's like a little too far away. You know, I think what I do recall in the rental girlfriend guidelines, you're not supposed to go on trips. I do recall in the rental girlfriend guidelines, you're not supposed to go on like long trips, like overnight trips. And I don't think like, and Kazuya doesn't have his license, so how would he get there? You know, he would need a car. So he literally can't go there. So he would need to like rent a car to go there or something. He literally can't go there. That's the fascinating thing. You remember you mentioned it to me earlier. It's an hour drive from Tokyo. It's literally an hour drive from Tokyo. And some of these things you literally can't go unless you have a car. So Kazuya would have to rent a car to go. Right? So he'd have to rent a car to go because he doesn't have a fucking car. Or he could rent a taxi to take him, but that would be kind of expensive, you know? But that would be also kind of interesting considering Chizuru's dad used to be a taxi driver and this arc literally started with a taxi driver. So that's kind of fascinating. The place, you can use a train or bus, but it takes longer. Okay, so you can use a train or bus, but it takes longer than that. So, okay. So I doubt Minnie would go. You can't rent a car if you don't have a license. Exactly. So initially when I said rent a car, I mean like rent a taxi. But then I said rent a car afterwards because Kazuya wouldn't have a car once he gets his license, which is something he's literally not considering. Did you fucking notice that? Kazuya is literally talking about going on a driving date and he doesn't have a car. Even if he gets his license by July 11th, he doesn't have a car. He would have to rent one. He would have to rent a car and drive it. So there's all that. There's that whole fucking problem. But okay, so he can use a train or bus, but it takes longer. Interesting. So I just don't know if Sumi can go on that. I just don't know if this is something Sumi can do. Like, because as a rental girlfriend, she can't. As a friend, she probably could. But as a rental girlfriend, she probably can't. And, you know, I doubt Kazuya would want to keep dragging her into this. So I could see Kazuya, like, maybe he'll have to go alone. Or, because I don't know if Reiji would do mini arc part 2. And if he did, it would be interesting if it's Minnie confessing to him or something. I think that would be kind of interesting. I'm not sure where this is going, to be honest. With his grandma, I kind of... No. I think Kazuya's family have a car. They do, but they're not going to just let him fucking use it for stupid bullshit. It's a work car. They're not going to let him use it for stupid bullshit. They don't even use it for stupid bullshit. Like, when we saw Nagomi, she... Like they do have a car, but they're not going to just let him fucking roll around in it. Okay, but this is all prediction stuff. This is all prediction stuff. We have to actually, like, focus on the chapter itself. The phone change suggestion rose again, a foreshadowing that Kazuya will change the phone in the future because of the circumstances. Well, no. The problem with his phone is that it broke, and it broke... Like you have to remember the circumstances by which his phone broke. He jumped in to save Chizuru under a false pretense. But at the same time... Do you remember what he said? This is dialogue they cut from the anime, and I hate that they fucking cut it from the anime. So I'm going to pull up the dialogue that Kazuya says, because it's so fucking important to all of this. When Kazuya's phone breaks, there's a specific set of dialogue that he says that I think we really got to pay attention to. So let me pull it up. Okay. Why was I able to do that? I still don't know. But right about then, I must have noticed Chizuru Mizuhara is a rental girlfriend, a virtual presence, a facade, someone I'd never be allowed to fall in love with. But he pulls her out of the water. So even though she's fake, I don't care. Okay? This is when Kazuya's phone shattered. Now, what's interesting about the phone case that he initially had, do these not look like bars? And I mean cell bars. Like, literally, you're in a cell. You're locked in a cage. The phone drops and it shatters. How fitting that Mommy is on the other side of the line. Mommy is on the other side of the line. And Kazuya literally broke out of his cage. Okay? So when Chizuru gives him the new phone case that Chizuru gives him literally represents his freedom. Because he's swimming in the ocean now, he's not in a cage. Think of this like Finding Nemo. It's when Nemo gets out of the aquarium. This is what this scene is. This is when Nemo gets out of the aquarium and literally dives into the sea. This is Kazuya literally escaping something fake and actually diving into something real, even though it looks fake. Chizuru looks fake, but he's actually diving into something real. He's literally feeling a real emotion, not a fake one. Okay? This is best symbolized in the presentation that you think you're seeing about this entire thing. So let me pull that up really quick. Okay. Where is it? When we start the arc, we have Mommy with a hibiscus over her hair. And Kazuya is sitting right next to her. She is real, right? And yet Mommy is in a cage. Once you understand Mommy's backstory, suddenly everything Kazuya is having with her is fucking fake. All of it is bullshit. And yet Chizuru, right, when we go to Chizuru, Chizuru has a morning gloria. Chizuru has a morning gloria, aka ephemeral love. Right? It's fake. It's not real. Why the fuck are you in love with her? None of this is real. And yet, which one is real and which one is fake? How come the fake one evoked so much emotions out of him? And the real one, he tossed aside without a fucking sigh. The real one that he thought he was 100% sure he was in love with her. Without a fucking second thought, he dropped her in a second. The moment the fake one that he thought was in danger fell off the water. Without fucking hesitation, he dived in. Isn't that fascinating? It makes you wonder which one is real and which one is fake. This is the illusion of this cover. Chizuru being a fake rental girlfriend, she's not real, is more real than Mommy, who never even really gave a shit about Kazuya until he stood up to Kibe. She didn't care about him before until he fucking said something prior. Until he showed interest, until he kept showing interest in her after she gave up on him. Literally the thing her brother called her out on. Literally the shit her brother called her out on. It's the illusion of a choice. You just lost something and you want it back. And you realized what you lost. In contrast, Kazuya is about to lose Chizuru and dives in to save her. Because Chizuru is real. She's not a facade. She is real. And guess what? When she sees him, she says the same thing and then she saves him. And her heartbeat is real and her emotions are real. What you experience is real. Not necessarily just all the stuff that you think you're seeing. It's what you experience. Even if what you're seeing is a lie, what you're experiencing is real. And that's the irony of Kazuya looking in the mirror here. He's busy looking. This is what he actually feels. But he's busy looking in the mirror, feeling good about himself. He's busy seeing, not actually experiencing. He's not experiencing Sumi. He's busy looking at himself in the mirror, making himself feel good. He's not experiencing anything. He's lying about an experience. You know, he even tells himself, oh, it's a lie. It wasn't fucking real. And then you see reality, how he actually looks. Maybe I'm actually pretty good looking. You see reality. He's not as good looking as he fucking thinks he is. He's not as fucking handsome as he thinks he is. He's living in his own little bubble of lie. This connects to the story with Kibe. Still, with Kazuya bloomed a hibiscus, which Mommy had before the story, while Chizuru was holding a flower Kazuya actually wanted. Except, which one is the real one? Which one is the actual hibiscus, and which one is the morning gloria? That's literally the fucking point of the opening covers. Your problem, Wiz, is you're reading it straight. Your problem is you're reading it straight. The story is literally asking a question. You're just saying, no, it's making a statement. That's my problem with your read. It's you're saying it's making a statement. It's asking a question. It's not making a statement. Chizuru, by every metric, should be ephemeral love, aka a morning gloria. He thinks Chizuru is the morning glory. He thinks Chizuru is what he wants, right? That's what you think he's going through in his head, right? Kazuya is delusional. He just thinks Chizuru is what he wants. She's not actually what he wants. In reality, it's the opposite. The entire story literally presents it as Mommy is what he thinks he wants. Mommy is the morning gloria. that's framed as if is it Morning Glory? Is it Morning Glory or Gloria? Because if it's Morning Glory, that's a much more fitting name considering mommy is literally comes from glory. Let's double check that. Is it Morning Glory? Just to make sure. It is. It's Morning Glory, which I think is a much more fitting name because mommy literally comes from a prestigious rich family. Kazuya wants glory. He wants the Morning Glory, which he thinks is mommy. In reality, he wants a hibiscus. The hibiscus is what he actually wants. Mommy looks like the hibiscus. He thinks this is what he wants. In reality, Chizuru is the real hibiscus. But she looks like a Morning Glory. She's literally trying to blow him off the thing and he holds on. Anyways, in the farm post, it says that it has sheeps and sheepdog. Kazuya is a lost sheep and a sheepdog guide the sheep to the herd, which could be Chizuru as the sheepdog. Maybe Minnie's the sheepdog, dude. Maybe, and that's the thing. It's like Kazuya needs to escape his herd. Kazuya needs to escape. I think you're reading it the wrong way. I think Kazuya needs to escape the farm. I think Kazuya needs to escape the farm, or maybe he needs to find his herd. I don't know. Maybe we could look at it a different way. Maybe he needs to find his herd, who needs to be guided along. I don't know. Maybe I'm reading it the wrong way. You know, it's like, okay, well, you're in a farm, but you're part of a herd, so you're not alone. Much like how all of us are technically trapped in like an awful society, but at least we're not alone. So maybe that's another way to look at it. I do think it's really interesting that Kazuya wears a cow costume, just as Chizuru wears a cow hoodie. Except Kazuya isn't in the center. Sumi is. Sumi is the farmer. Kazuya is the thing she's farming. So I do think that's interesting. Do you think also that the phone, Kazuya also indirectly said his solution to himself and not changing entirely, but to work on the inside battery and fix a bit of the screen? No, he needs to change his phone. I really think he literally needs to change his phone. What he doesn't... I think that's a misread of the situation, in my opinion. I think he literally needs to change his phone and let it go. He needs to let go of the past. I think that's not the read you think it is, because unfortunately what you don't realize about phones that makes this not work is that even if you replace the battery, phones are literally designed to fall apart. After a few years, they literally don't work anymore. So you're literally holding on to a dying horse. You're literally forcing this phone to keep going. It fucking can't. It needs to be put down. You need to let it go. That's I think more of the more accurate metaphor. That Kazuya's phone is literally dying, and he refuses to let it die. He is willing it into life. He refuses to let the fucking phone die. It cannot find peace. Right? It's the phone. The poor thing is dead already. Let it die. And no, he keeps holding on to it. That's more of a more accurate metaphor. He's literally holding on to a dying thing. He needs to let Mizuhara die so Ichinose may live. I think that's a more fitting way to say this. Who in his eyes gave him this phone case? Mizuhara. Who picked this out for him? Who helped pick this out for him? Umi. Literally, he in a way, despite the phone case representing freedom initially in the story, because that's why he's keeping the phone. He's not keeping the phone for the phone. He doesn't give a shit about the phone. He's keeping it for the phone case. And he says he's doing it because the phone case won't fit anymore. Right? That's why he's doing it. Except you can take off the phone and you would still have the phone case. Right? You can take off the phone and you would still have the phone case. The phone case isn't going anywhere. Yeah, it won't fit on the phone, But you still have it. Do you see the problem? He's acting like if he gets rid of his phone, the phone case is gone forever. Right? He's holding on to the phone case. And yet, Chizuru has given him other gifts that he's not holding on to. Do you see the irony? She has given him 2 gifts that he has literally put in the freezer. So she gave him a chocolate. He hasn't even opened it. He's kept it in the freezer. Do you see the hypocrisy in what he's doing? So Kazuya has gotten 2 gifts from Chizuru up until now. He has 2 other gifts. One, she got him a chocolate for Valentine's Day to make an apology. He hasn't even eaten it. He's had it for a month. More than a month at this point. He hasn't even eaten it. He's just kept it in the fridge. And yet he uses his phone case because, she gave it to him, so I'm using it. She gives him what is it? The keychain. She gives him the keychain as a gift. She literally says it's a fucking gift. She gives him the keychain as a gift, and he doesn't use it. You never see it. Do you see the irony? He keeps holding on to this thing, claiming he's using it for some weird fucking purpose. In reality, his problem is he's afraid that if he takes it off, he'll never see it again. He'll never use it again. It'll just disappear. But it won't. That's not how it works. You still have it. It's not gone. Replace your fucking phone. It's dying, dude. Stop holding on to something you don't need to. You're not going to lose the gift. It's still there. It's the same exact thing with Chizuru. Stop holding on and trying to keep telling her to love you. Just let her go so she can choose to love you. Because she's not going to go away. She's still there. She's not gone. Stop holding on. He's literally holding her arm. He's holding her arm and he's afraid to let her go because if she goes away, he might never see her again. Think of it like object permanence. Do you know what the term object permanence means? Let me look it up for you. Yeah, it's Morning Glories. Object permanence. I misspelled it, but whatever. Object permanence is the understanding that whether an object can be sensed has no effect on whether it continues to exist. So basically what that means is when you don't see something, it's still there. Just because you don't see it, it doesn't mean it's not there. Kazuya thinks that if Chizuru doesn't know he exists, she'll forget about him. He thinks if he literally lets go of her arm, she'll forget about him. She'll never see him again. He won't ever matter to her whatsoever. His existence is null and void. In that same way, if he takes off the phone case and gets a new phone that does not fit onto this phone case, he will never, ever get another gift again. Or he'll never look at this thing again. It will cease existing if he takes it off. Do you see the problem? Your inability to let go of something makes it lose its meaning. Because Kazuya literally got a gift that represents his freedom. And now he has let that freedom trap him. Do you see the irony? The thing that's supposed to represent freedom is now his new prison. The water that literally, it is like literally, look at the phone case. Look at the phone case. What is the phone case? It is literally fish swimming in the sea. That is what the phone case is. It is literally fish swimming in the sea. The phone case that represents freedom, he has made his new prison. Do you see the irony? It's such good fucking writing. Okay, let me go to, yeah, so maybe we could view Chizuru as the sheepdog, if you will. I don't know. You don't want to see the DM about the phone theory we had? Sure. Oh, yeah, we were talking about like a phone theory, so let me pull that up. Okay. So we were talking about Kazuya's phone. So you were saying you think that you have a new theory about how you talk about mommy saving Kazuya, or Kazuya confessing to his family to let Chizuru go. Something bothers me about that is mommy saving feels out of place for her in her position right now. Same with Kazuya, and telling the family is something that needs Chizuru to be there, which feels something that happens after dealing with Ruka. He has to let go of Chizuru first, then deal with the family second. I don't know about that, but let's see. So that got me thinking, and I ended up to reread the past chapters, and I think I found something that seems to connect Kazuya in order for him to let go of Chizuru. And if you think about it, perfectly matches with the current narrative. It's something we kind of talked about in the past streams, and to be honest, it was in our eyes the whole fucking time. He wrote this, by the way, before the spoilers even came out. He wrote this on what? He wrote this like maybe it was during the spoilers. I don't know. Maybe you read the spoilers. I don't know. So you told me it's the phone. Like I said, if you think about it, it makes sense. Because in the chapter Kazuya, Chizuru, and Minnie when shopping, Chizuru said um, that he should get a new phone. Yet Kazuya refused to do it due to the case. If you look at all the characters, everyone's phones are fine, yet Kazuya is the only one who has a cracked phone. So I'm like, everything is about the phone. Even Okaba used his phone when he used D-mail. And that's the only way Kazuya can contact Chizuru too. Everybody's connected through the phones. So if Kazuya loses the phone, he literally loses his connection to other people. So let's see. You know what everyone has to eventually do with your phones, right? They upgrade them. And Kazuya has this phone for almost 2 years. At that time, you need to upgrade. Yet he refused. Couldn't you say that Kazuya's refusal to upgrade his phone is similar to upgrading his love? You don't lose info on your phone when you upgrade. They just get transferred. So literally, instead of letting himself get new features and get a new perspective on love and changing how he approaches love, Kazuya sticks to the past. He sticks to the thing he believes to be the tried and true when it isn't. It's not the tried and true. You have other tools. Instead of learning and changing, he literally sticks to the old. So yeah. And I'm like, technically, if you could actually lose everything on your phone if you don't back it up online and it breaks or you lose it, which almost happened to me. My old phone wasn't backed up. So like when I dropped it in the water and it stopped working, I'm like, oh no, the phone is broken. I left it alone for like a bunch of months and I got a new phone and I did a whole bunch of stuff on it. And then for some reason, I'm like, let's see if it works. And I plugged it in and it actually turned on. And then I just backed up everything on my PC. So, yeah, you can lose a lot of things that won't be backed up, but you can back up certain things. Another thing Reiji could do is reverse the use of technology to connect, instead of divide, letting go of technology to truly use it. Though really, you can say that when Kazuya is using AI, it's always shown on his phone with a cracked screen, literally signaling that the thing is broken and needs to change. Plus, many people have their info saved on the cloud and blah, 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 blah. Weirdly, I only found some of my info. Okay, we were talking about this, so we're talking about upgrading. New phone and it started. Okay, let's see. So you can use Kazuya holding on to something that's broken instead of something new, aka like a relationship with Chizuru. Again, he's holding on to Mizuhara, which is broken. Mizuhara is broken. Mizuhara is like the connection he has to what he believes to be Chizuru, which is Mizuhara in that regard, is broken because Chizuru doesn't want to be rental anymore. She wants to let that go. And he literally won't let her let that go. It's something that's literally not functioning anymore, and he won't let her let it go. So, literally, their foundation is broken. He's not letting go of something that's broken. And in order to build a new foundation, you have to let something crumble. Like think of it like a sinking ship. He's literally trying to keep the ship afloat. It's already done. Bro, the ship's already done, which is really funny. He references Titanic. It's so fucking funny he references Titanic. Because literally it's a sinking ship. It's literally a sinking ship, bro. Let it go. If he was able to let it go, if he was able to let go of the idea that he needs to confess, if he was able to let go of the idea that, like, the way he's approaching this whole thing with Chizuru is not fucking working, he would let go of the idea that his approach is broken, that his solution is not working. Do you see what that actually means? It's literally saying your approach is just not working. You need something different. You have to try something different. Otherwise, it's literally not going to work. And the ship is just going to keep sinking. And that's what he's not catching. Every single thing he references is in some way Storm or sinking ship. We can delve into those later. I'll have to look up the movies in detail later to make sure. I'm not going to see every single movie, but I'll look it up. Let's see. Unable to let go of the past, both beautiful and tragic, much like Chizuru with her grandparents. So close, yet untouchable. Just like Chizuru with the moon in Season 5's ending, or the 3 months. And yet, he uses it not to connect and contact her, right? His phone is literally how he could connect to Chizuru at any fucking moment, and he chooses not to contact her. Bruh. And that's the thing. He loses the phone, he could just get her new info again. He could ask her to get him a new case. She could get him a new case. It never even crosses his mind that she might get him a new case if he got a new phone. What if she gets him a new phone? Never even crosses his mind. Right? She'll never get me a gift. You know, it's the only gift I've ever gotten from her. I'll never get another gift. Maybe you could say Chizuru uses it to connect, whereas Kazuya doesn't. He could talk to her at any moment, and he chooses not to. Whereas Chizuru feels like he is untouchable, forever out of reach for her, despite being so close. If you think about, many of the characters use their phones for different things. Ruka for her heart, to measure her heart rate. Sumi to talk. Minnie for social media. Mommy to look forward to the outside. Because Mommy is literally trapped inside a place, so she literally sees pictures of the outside world. It's kind of like Pragmata. I'm playing Pragmata right now. You literally just see pictures of Earth. You're not actually at Earth. And Chizuru seems to be the one who uses it to truly connect. And Kazuya, the only one doing but fuck all with it. Well, Kazuya uses it to escape. In a way, every character is technically using it to escape, but Kazuya uses it to escape. That's how Kazuya uses it. Okay. So yeah, this was the whole thing. Phones are the new bags, I guess. Kazuya's relationship with the phone case and Chizuru is becoming pretty much like Golem with the ring. Rather than a pure form of love, it's become more like an addiction, obsession, and necessity. It's his precious. Oh my god. That kind of works. Yeah, he literally refuses to let go of it. It's lost its meaning, you know? Besides, in the first panel, we can't see Kazuya's reflection in the mirror, just like a vampire. Oh, shit. Well, he's not actually in front of the mirror, but yeah, I see what you're going for. He's literally not standing in front of the mirror, and then he leans into the mirror. So, I get what you're going for, but not really. Like, maybe that's low-key the intent, but he leans into the mirror to look at himself. I think a better one that we could glean is right here. When he looks at himself in the mirror here, his face is blank. Did you notice that? When you first see him look in the mirror, you see a different Kazuya. This isn't what Kazuya looks like. He sees himself differently. He looks in the mirror and he sees a different person. But then, what does Reiji do? What does Reiji do with this particular framing? This framing is overhead. So here, the framing is third person. So this is like when you're playing a third person video game, you know, it's over the head. It's third person. So it's like right here, right behind you. So you're technically getting their experience. You know, you're kind of seeing what they're seeing, right? You're standing right behind them. You're seeing what they're seeing. Then what does Reiji do? He does it overhead. So overhead, you literally have an objective view now. You have an eagle's point of view. You're looking from a different angle. This is almost a horror-like angle. And in particular, I love what Reiji does. He makes it claustrophobic. Look at how tight this room is. Look at how really crammed this room is. And then You see Kazuya's face and it's blank. There's nothing there. He's in a white room looking at himself. And you're seeing an overhead view and he's literally boxing himself. He's literally in a corner. He's boxing himself into a corner. He literally can't move. He doesn't see himself. He literally looks in the mirror and sees someone else. He's not looking at himself. He is literally a sheep or a cow in a farm, unaware of what the fuck is happening to it. He literally doesn't know what the fuck is going on. He thinks he's fine. It's like a cat living in someone's house. They don't realize how much they rely on the cat. His hair looks cool, though, in the mirror. But that's kind of part of the illusion. That's kind of part of the illusion. His hair looking cool is part of the illusion. That like, oh, you have a nice hair now. That changed your entire personality. Like, do you see the problem? His hair looks cool, but it hides the fact that he's not cool on the inside. Yeah, and then it doesn't look cool again, right? It's all about how the face looks, right? I love how Reiji can make the face look cool and then instantly make it look not cool. Okay, so we go back to Sumi. So what did Kazuya do with Sumi's feelings? He used them. Seriously, what is happening in this scene? What is Kazuya doing with Sumi's feelings? He's using them to make himself feel better. Is this not what he just did? Sumi is just like, it doesn't matter who, you're the coolest one. You're the cooler than everyone. He looks in the mirror. Fuck yeah, I am. Oh yeah, fuck yeah, I am. You know, it's funny. It's funny, you know, it's like a fucking power trip. You know, Sumi's farming that aura for him. Sumi's farming that aura for him. She's literally feeding him, right? What is she carrying? She's carrying the thing you use to farm hay. Right? You literally pick hay up with this and you give it to the fucking cow. She's literally feeding him. She's literally making him fatter. She's feeding him hay. She's literally letting Kazuya aura farm. Right? So what's happening? Sumi is literally feeding Kazuya's ego. Sumi's literally feeding Kazuya's ego. And it's not about Sumi anymore. To me, you're the best. Maybe I'm actually pretty good looking. It makes him feel good about himself. It's not about Sumi. Sumi doesn't matter in the picture. Her feelings are a joke. They don't matter. Cool. You told Kazuya you're the best. To me, you're the best. What does that have to do with anything? Right? All it did was make Kazuya feel better about himself. Oh, I'm great looking. Oh, I'm great. Sumi's feelings are literally being used, and she's letting her feelings be used. That's the tragedy. You think Kazuya is purely the monster here. And in some ways, he is. In some ways, Kazuya is a monster here, because he's using these things. You know, he's using someone's innocence, which is, you know, a fucked up thing to say. However, on the same way, Sumi's letting herself be used. Absolutely, she is. Because she could clear things up and she could say things differently. She just tells herself she can't. She knows she can. That is something I literally wrote in my Sumi analysis that I could read for you guys a little bit later. Sumi knows she can. She uses her personality as an excuse not to do it. She uses her good nature as an excuse not to do it. She uses her shyness as an excuse to not do it. Oh, you know, I care about Chizuru, therefore I'm not going to do what I need to do. No, fucking say it. Because if Kazuya it's about Kazuya's pick, not yours. You know, it's about who Kazuya picks. Okay, you know Kazuya loves Chizuru. Give him the choice. Don't decide for him. That's the problem with Sumi's approach. She's deciding for him. I'm not going to tell you my feelings and let you decide how to feel. You say you love Chizuru, but I haven't said my feelings, so I'm just not going to say my feelings because I don't matter in the picture. She literally doesn't let him reject her, just as he doesn't reject anyone. That is the irony of Sumi's character. She's a fucking coward. You guys love a fucking coward. It's just the coward is really cute and innocent and pure, so you want to defend her. But that's the irony. She, in many ways, is robbing Kazuya of a choice. And robbing herself of a choice in hiding her feelings. She's literally doing exactly what Kazuya does. Literally letting her emotions be used. Sumi is letting her emotions be used, in a sense, exactly as a mirror to Kazuya with Minnie and with Ruka. He's letting himself be assaulted. Hold on. I know it sounds like victim blaming, but low-key, it's true. Low-key, not low-key, high-key. At high-key, it's true. So it's both. I've said it before, Kazuya is both a victim and he is victimizing himself. That's why we have something called a victim complex. He's literally a victim and he's victimizing himself. It's called learned helplessness, and he makes himself feel powerless. And because he's powerless, he can't do anything. Therefore, when Ruka assaults him, he couldn't have done anything. Even though he's literally like double her fucking size. Okay, fine, you can't use your physical strength to get her off of you because you freeze when sexual things happen to you. Okay, then don't let her into the fucking house. Oh, you'll probably tell me something along the lines of, how could Kazuya have possibly known Ruka was going to sexually assault him? She's done it 3 times in the past. She's done it 3 fucking times in the past. What do you mean? She did it before the movie arc, she did it before Hawaiians, and she constantly touches him and hugs him and kisses him after that point. She's constantly touching him after that point. Bro, you have every inclination to know she was going to fucking do that. You just needed to take action. Just don't let her into the same room. Lets her into the same room. Gives up all autonomy to Ruka. He literally, like, visually, you're conveyed to him. You're visually conveyed that Kazuya is giving up his autonomy to Ruka. When Ruka goes to his place, and what do you see? You see a very particular thing when Ruka first goes to Kazuya's house. The first shot you see 2 things. Kazuya's house and his goal list removed. Now, some people will say, well, you know, Kazuya shouldn't keep his goal list. Ruka would explode. It's his fucking house. This is his fucking house. So, you can look at this from 2 different ways. 2 things happened with Ruka. One, she made his house feel unsafe. 2, he let his house feel unsafe. Because from the get-go, he already gave up his autonomy to Ruka by literally removing his goal list. Because he knew she would react. Why the fuck should she have more control over him in his own fucking house? That is why the first shot you see is Kazuya's house and the tape marks. You're literally being conveyed to you from the starting point. Your place is pretty spacious. Ruka says, your place. As you see Kazuya literally giving up the autonomy of his own home to Ruka. It is not his place anymore, it is her place. And he let it be her place. Because he literally removed something that he claimed to be working super hard on, all because she showed up. It's his house, not her house. Why the fuck is he removing things from his own home just because she's here? No. Take control. It is your home. You don't want her to see this? Don't bring her to your house. You got to draw lines. He draws no lines. He gives up all control to someone else in his own home. Sorry, went on a bit of a tangent there. Didn't mean to, but it's the thing I've been trying to explore with the Ruka thing because everyone wants to just blame Ruka blatantly when it's really not that simple. Let me read some of the chat. I haven't been reading chat. Am I streaming on Twitch? Oh shit, I never started streaming on Twitch. Oops. Let's see here. It should be up and running now. Hi, Twitch side. I'm sorry. Hi, Twitch side. I'm sorry for whoever fucking shows up. For whoever fucking shows up at this point. Sorry for not, like, fucking putting up Twitch sooner. Mistakes were made. Okay, I was wondering why Twitch chat was so quiet. I'm just like, oh, I literally wasn't streaming. Because I'm a dum-dum. So let's see. Let's read some of the chat here. Her hair is okay. The third mirror view is almost like he's fading. He literally doesn't have a personality. He is fading. Who he is has disappeared. Why I see Sumi in the as a farmer in the cover? He's charging himself with Sumi's feelings. Oh, Johann Fate, preach us the message of Reiji. I don't know if it's the message of Reiji. This is just my read on the chapter. I try to understand what Reiji is saying by just admitting to myself I'm a fucking idiot, you know. But you know, I do try to do the same thing. I try to feel good about myself, just like Kazuya does. I think we all do. It's just the difference is I'm honest about it. You know, I'm just honest about the fact that I'm trying to feel good about myself. Imagine if Kazuya goes there by himself. He could bump into Sumi on her day off. Maybe she went there for fruit picking. You don't actually... That doesn't seem like Sumi. But it would be interesting. You know, he goes there on his day off and he runs into someone. We'll see. We love Kazuya too. Don't get me started with the adjectives. Kind of sad he translates being the best to I look good. Oh, yeah. Oh, fuck, you're right. I didn't even clock that. Yeah, he literally translates the best to I look good. Yeah. Oh, yeah. He literally makes it about his looks when to Sumi, it's not about looks. The entire point of what Sumi said was that it was not about how he looks and that he's still cool. How does he read it? I'm pretty good looking. The foundation of this chapter is wrong. The very foundation by which Kazuya is approaching this is wrong. It is a foundational misunderstanding of what someone said. And the fact that it oh my God, I understand. Okay. Chizuru tells, okay, Sumi's arc is called The Boyfriend and Love 2. Specifically, it's called Koi. This is meant to be a direct nod to the Odaiba date, right? We all just agreed on this. It's meant to be a direct nod to the Odaiba date. What happens in the Odaiba date? Chizuru says a whole bunch of shit to Kazuya that he completely misreads and misinterprets as something completely different. Sumi, at the very end of this, says some very potent and very specific lines to him that he misreads and misinterprets as something completely different. Thus, he has a foundational misunderstanding of what the fuck is going on. Thus, because of his foundational misunderstanding, he does all of this bullshit that serves no purpose. He's literally doing the wrong thing because he fundamentally misunderstood what the fuck the point was. Because he fundamentally misunderstood what the fuck the point was, everything he's doing is wrong. So even though Minnie is giving good advice, it has nothing to do with what's actually happening. The entire point of the Sumi chapter is that it literally presents a foundational misunderstanding of relationships, framed through the lens of a confession. Shit. Also, why his self-improvement falls apart. Instead of trying to be the best, more so about appearing to look good. Like an American. Like an American. American, fuck yeah. Yeah, a big thing in the United States that people love is you look good. In the US, if you look good, if you have charisma, you will get elected. I'm not even kidding. You can say the most deranged fucking nonsense. You can say the most deranged, insane fucking nonsense. If you have charisma and you look good, you'll get elected. Welcome to US politics. Why do you think we fucking love celebrities? They look good and they have charisma. That's all we care about. Nothing else matters. What is Kazuya trying to do? He's focusing on looking good, and he has what he perceives to be confidence. Charisma. He's charismatic. He's literally becoming what people think they want. He's becoming the main protagonist of your rom-com story. He's not boring anymore, right? You guys hate bland protagonists, right? You fucking despise bland protagonists, right? Oh God, they're the bane of your fucking existence, right? And Kazuya falls into that role, right? He's a bland fucking protagonist. How could any girl like this guy? He's so fucking boring, right? Easily one of the truly most charismatic and coolest people I've ever fucking seen, and he's literally ruining himself to fit in with your interpretation of charisma and cool. because everyone kept telling him he was bland and boring. Literally like the readers, who view him as bland and boring. I remember one time I was watching a stream from Gigox. This was before chapter 218 dropped, so he still liked the series at this point. And it was slightly after the cheer update. And he literally said, Kazuya still isn't good enough. He needs to improve more. And when I heard that, this was before Gigox started hating the series. This was when he still thought it was good. This was when he still thought it was good, and he was like glazing it and everything. And he probably doesn't even fucking remember this, but it's like a core memory for me. Do you want to know why? Because Kazuya was always good enough. And yet, even then, after everything he'd done, make the movie, help Chizuru with her emotional turmoil, literally step up constantly for everyone, constantly show how kind and protective he is, he still wasn't good enough. And that became Kazuya's reality. That he'll never be good enough. That he constantly has to be better for everyone. Always and forever. He can never be good enough. Just like Chizuru tries to reach for the moon, and it looks so close, and yet she can't really touch it. Because it's not actually close. It's really fucking far away. Literally trying to touch the untouchable. That's why it's a core memory for me. That's why I always remember in the back of my head. Because to me, Kazuya was always good enough. And yet, every single person, including the people around him in the actual fucking narrative, kept telling him he wasn't. Including the audience. And now even his biggest supporter, Minnie, tells him to change. The problem with what Minnie is doing when she's reading the text is really simple. She's not seeing someone's heartfelt emotions being placed on a page. She's seeing an essay that needs to be critiqued. She's critiquing this like an essay. Oh, no. You're writing this wrong. You have to be clearer about this point. You have to simplify this point. You have to do that. That's how a lot of people look at storytelling. And that's why they don't understand it. Because you're reading an essay. You're not reading a story. There's a difference. There's a fundamental difference between an essay and a story. A story conveys one's experiences, one's emotions. Yes, you can articulate it better. Yes, you can have better sentence structure and grammatical corrections. But a story is an experience. Maybe you writing something incorrectly is the point. A lot of what Kazuya wrote here actually reflects a lot of his own actual feelings. It being clumsy and weird and awkward is the point. It needs to be clumsy, weird, and awkward. Because when Kazuya looks at it as he's about to confess, he's going to be like, this isn't what I want to say. I'm going to say something different. It's meant to be clumsy, awkward, and weird. Minnie, instead, feels the need to correct it. Minnie, instead, is like, this is not a good essay. You should just simplify it to, I love you. But no, that's not more than enough. No. It's okay to say how you feel no matter how long or cringe or weird it is. It's okay to explain your feelings. Instead, you're trying to jump in after her. A total idiot. Okay? What she's saying isn't necessarily wrong. It's the right criticism. If anything, I do think Kazuya needs criticism. But no more star metaphors? I think Minnie has missed the point of the star metaphors. See, that's the thing. Minnie tells him no more star metaphors. She never asks, why does the star metaphor exist? She's his editor. She's trying to appeal to a general audience. It's way too long. Plus, look at these lenses. This feels like Reiji, like writing what his editors fucking told him in the past. That's what this feels like. This is what my editors fucking said in the past. So I'm gonna fucking put it down, like word for word, bro. Word for word, bro. Right? And don't you feel fucking embarrassed when your art is critiqued? Don't you feel fucking stupid when someone tells you what you wrote is stupid? Right? You put your heart and soul into something, and then some person just says, "Oh, it's dumb." And you're redundant and it's stupid. No one sees what you actually put down. That's the tragedy here. Minnie literally doesn't see what Kazuya put down, and he doesn't really see it either. Kazuya doesn't actually know what he put on this paper. You know why? Because he can't explain it. Kazuya literally doesn't know what he put on his own paper. Because when Minnie tells him, you need to remove this, he can't explain why he can't remove it. He just says he can't. There's nothing to remove, right? He says, I can't really cut anything out. Yes, you can. She's right. Of course you can. You can cut out anything out of anything. But why do you need it to stay? That question is never asked. Did you notice that? Not once does Minnie ask, why does it need to stay? What does this mean for you? What does the star metaphor mean for you? What does the fire metaphor mean for you? Why is that there? Why is Chizuru so... Why is this how you want to represent her? Nobody asks these questions. Literally, what are they doing? They're analyzing writing from a surface level. From a surface level, you can cut anything from writing. Yeah, literally, you could remove fucking anything. Just be like, oh, I don't want this. This is dumb. Get rid of it. You know, it's not going to connect to modern audiences. They're not going to fucking get it. Get rid of it. You could literally do that with anything. Any story. You could just be like, oh, no, this is weird. This isn't going to work. You should get rid of that. It's going to be awkward for some of the readers. Like, I could do that easy. Dude, I could write for traditional audiences fucking easy. It's so fucking easy. It's so fucking easy. Because literally, so much of it is just like, okay, how would this person think? Oh, yeah, they would think this. They would think that. Okay, cool. That's why I've actually, like, debated real writing. Just seeing how well I could do. Granted, I've never actually, like, done a full story for someone before. So, you know, it'd probably go poorly. And I probably need to sit down for a while and fucking think about it before I actually, like, put out anything. But that's the point. It's like, it's very easy to critique something. It's very hard to actually write it. And Minnie has a very easy time critiquing Kazuya's work, but you know, her answer to everything is just so simple. I love you, I want to cherish you, that's more than enough. No, it isn't. Not always. Maybe you just got to convey how you're feeling to someone. You know, just tell them a little bit more clearly. To Minnie, that's simple. Yeah, you know, that when you say that, to Minnie, it's simple. Yeah, I love you. But Chizuru asked, why can you say you love me? She's not questioning that he loves her. She's questioning why he can say it. That's what Kazuya's writing. Let him write it. Yet she's so quick to judge. She's so quick to react. She doesn't let him write anything. Let him write it out. Let him feel it out. Don't just immediately criticize him. Let him feel it out. Again, black and white perspective. Kazuya is too white and no darkness, so he can't see it. Minnie looks like Kazuya's darkness, but all she is just white. Or sorry, all she is black. She literally drinks a black, weird Kool-Aid fucking juice. Remember, she still has the weird Kool-Aid juice. And on top of that, she's literally wearing black now. He's literally demonized her. He's turned her into a demon. That's kind of cool. You're literally seeing Minnie transform into a monster. That's kind of cool. Okay, so I haven't read chat in a bit. Sorry. Could a fair critique with Kazuya's confession be that there are fair opportunities to do some of these things and he didn't? Chizuru cried, he didn't hug. Okay, he still has dark views. Kazuya still has his dark views, indulging every day else. Well, that's not so much a critique as, like, I think you're kind of missing my point. Johan, do you know about the Kanokari song titled Favorite Lover? Yeah, I do. It has, like, 5 different versions. I'm surprised, so that song has like 5 different versions. It has It has one sung by Chizuru, one by Mami, one by Ruka, one by Sumi, and then there's one where they all sing. So yeah, it has like, I'm pretty sure it has like 5 different versions. Because like when you get the Blu-rays, every single version of the Blu-ray has a version of that song. When you get the Blu-rays for season 1, every single version of that Blu-ray has the main girl of the cover of that Blu-ray singing that song. So there's literally meant to be like 4 different versions of the song. But yeah. I disagree. Both are wrong. It's not a simple or elaborate confession. He doesn't need to confess. He needs to tell Chizuru why he loves. Yeah, isn't that literally what I just said? Isn't that literally what I just said? That's why many... That's the thing, though, is like many just let him say what he wants to say. Again, we already explained that Kazuya's foundation is wrong. We already explained that Kazuya's foundation is wrong, is that he thinks he needs to confess. You know, he hears a confession and he doesn't hear a confession. That's the irony. He hears a confession. He doesn't hear a confession. He hears, I'm good looking. That's how he interprets Sumi's words. Okay, so he literally hears a confession. He doesn't think it's a confession. He thinks it's, I'm good looking. So he starts writing a confession. But what's interesting about the confession is that what Kazuya needs is to like really dig into it. What happened in this chapter in one word? How do I say that in one? How the fuck do I say all this? I can't say this in one word. I can't say this in one word. I can. Word. I can. What happened in this chapter in one word? Word. Am I not wrong? Am I not fucking wrong? Dude, look me dead in the fucking eye and tell me I'm fucking correct. Word. Let's see. Chizuru is willing to sell her house, symbolizing her ability to move forward and let go. But Kazuya cannot toss his phone case because he cannot move forward and let go. Yeah, I mean, we said this too. I literally said this when Chizuru was selling the house. That's literally what I said. Chizuru is literally willing to sell her house, showing how much she's willing to actually let go of the past and truly move forward. Whereas Kazuya is stuck in the past. He can't move forward. That's why the plot seems to not moving forward. He's literally stuck. Yeah, he's literally trapped in a loop. He's trapped in the illusion of the hero's journey. He's literally trapped in his illusion of the hero's journey. He's not on a hero's journey. That's the illusion. It's a monster. It's literally the villain. It's the great demon king convincing himself he's the hero. It's the great demon king convincing himself he's the hero. He's literally going through all the steps, beat for fucking beat. Isn't next week Golden Week? Okay, well, let's just go to Reddit and we'll know. They're gonna list it. If it is, then we'll know. I don't see anything saying that. They would tell us if next week was Golden Week. They would tell us if there was a break. And they don't say anything here. Nobody's saying there's a break. So I don't know. But Kazuya knows he couldn't answer Chizuru about why he loves her, so why does he think a confession or a date would fix that? Again, it's literally the whole point. He's trying to fix okay. He needs a wrench to actually turn the gear. He's trying to use a screwdriver. And it's not working. The analogy Minnie gives is pretty accurate. The problem is she doesn't realize how accurate it is. That's what she doesn't know. She doesn't realize how accurate her analogy is. Her analogy is really fucking accurate. The problem is that she's not realizing the very confession is this analogy. The very approach itself is this analogy. So the analogy If you compare this to fishing, Chizuru-san is already hooked. All you have to do now is pull up the rod, but instead you're trying to jump in after her. Now, terrible fucking analogy, mind you. Terrible fucking analogy, mind you. It's kind of fucked up that she's viewing Chizuru as a fish, that he's already hooked on the line. But it's oddly fitting too, because what is Kazuya doing? He's literally stringing her along. Minnie doesn't realize how fucking accurate this is. He's literally stringing her along. And Minnie doesn't even fucking clock it. She doesn't even see her own fucking analogy, which is kind of wild. Okay. Yeah, and when Minnie reads it, what do you see? Minnie is literally in shadows. When Minnie reads it, what do you see? Minnie is literally in shadows. From the way Reiji is using shadows now is really interesting. So he started changing how he's using the shadows a little bit. He's getting a little more creative. It's kind of cool. So what he's doing with the shadows is that instead, what you see initially with the shadows dictates how the light appears. That's what's interesting. Minnie looks in shadows here. But then you see her in light. What's interesting about that is that that shadow defines how that light looks to you. This is their truth. This is their truth. They believe this. They're not lying. They believe this. However, it's a foundational lie. You started with a shadow. Therefore, you were blind the whole time. That's such a cool use of shadows. He still imagines Chizuru wearing this outfit, which is really interesting. This is the real Chizuru. This is really interesting. He imagines the real Chizuru. I let myself get too carried away, which is really funny because he doesn't realize how carried away he actually is. It's really funny he says that. He doesn't realize how carried away he actually is. I thought girls wanted that kind of thing. Generalization. Sumi-chan kind of prefers fairy tale stuff, so maybe this isn't normal as I thought. This would have worked for Sumi. It doesn't work for Minnie. You don't know if it works for Chizuru. Who are you writing this for? Chizuru, Minnie, or yourself? Who is this for? Because a confession in many ways is for you. It's your emotions. You're sharing your emotions with someone. It's about what you personally feel. He's not writing this for himself. He's writing this for Chizuru. In particular, his fairy tale of Chizuru. So when he talks about Sumi liking fairy tale stuff, it's really ironic because he likes fairy tale stuff. She literally looks like a fairy. Sumi literally looks like a fairy. And he doesn't even... he's literally blind as a bat. Bats are not blind. Fuck. Hey, isn't this a little too low? Your battery. Now we're talking objectivity. So this is interesting. They talk about a subjective element. They talk about a very subjective element. This is really interesting. And then they swapped to an objective element. His battery is low. You don't want it dying during the date. How about buying a new one? No. So Minnie closes her eyes here when he says no. Now that you mention it, I remember talking about this when we were out buying a TV. It's nice that you care about your stuff, but using old things can make you look stubborn. Are you attached to it or something? She's lying. What she actually wanted to ask is that, why does it matter to you so much? You were so decisive about that. So she remembers that incident and she closes her eyes to she's curious. She's curious why it matters to him so much. So, but what does she do? She pulls a Chizuru. She's being a tsundere. It's really funny. People don't clock Minnie's being a tsundere here. She's literally being a tsundere. So she closes her eyes. She turns away and she pretends to not be interested. And I would bet you right now, in the Japanese, she's probably speaking with a disinterested tone. In the Japanese, I could bet you right now, she's speaking in a disinterested tone. 1,000%. And then Kazuya says, I don't really care about the phone, but the case. The case. Now, what's interesting about this? There's a really interesting thing about this that I think not many people realize. Many mislabeled the issue and didn't see the actual issue. She thought it was about the phone. It wasn't about the phone, it was about the case. She thought the writing was bad. The confession was, the confession needs adjustments. She didn't realize the confession is not the issue. She literally mislabeled the problem. She saw the symptom of the problem, not the root. Just as with the phone case, she didn't realize it was about the phone case. She thought it was about the phone. These two scenes work in tandem. You need one and the other. You literally need one and the other. It doesn't work without the other. The first scene is informed by the second. Just as Minnie fundamentally misunderstands the issue, so too does she fundamentally misunderstand what the phone case means for Kazuya. Because while Kazuya has this memory, Minnie doesn't see that. But she gets to feel how Chizuru felt in that moment. In particular, let me pull that up because she fucking looks just like Chizuru. She fucking looks just like Chizuru. Okay? Otherwise, the case wouldn't fit. Look at Chizuru. He looks identical. He looks identical. Look at this. It's verbatim the fucking same. It's verbatim the fucking same. Look at him. But Chizuru's reaction isn't quite the same. Minnie's is more surprise. Chizuru is, ironically, a lack of surprise. However, where's the lack of surprise come from? Geez, Chizuru-san is one lucky girl. Chizuru? Fuck. He's hot as fuck. God, I'm so lucky for him. It's almost like Chizuru is thinking the same fucking thing. He's too good for me. I'm so fucking lucky. It's almost like Chizuru was thinking the same exact thing. But when Minnie first sees it, it's surprise. When she sees how Kazuya reacts, oh man. Minnie doesn't realize how similar her and Chizuru are. It never even crosses her mind. Okay, let's read some of the chat. Let's see. Okay. The reason Kazuya cannot tell why he loves her is because he has constructed his whole life and identity around his love for Chizuru. It's sad, but kind of true. He thinks about his love for Chizuru. He is nothing and has nothing, and that's the main problem. He will never convey his love as long as he's not able to love himself. I think you kind of misunderstood a little bit of that. So it's less about how Kazuya has I've talked about this before. It's less that Kazuya has defined himself this way, but rather that everyone else have defined Kazuya purely by his love and nothing else, not his identity. They have literally erased his identity in favor of his love. You see it perfectly You see it perfectly with Kibe. Kibe literally does this when Chizuru goes to ask him about Kazuya. And he fundamentally misunderstands what the fuck she's asking about. And look at what he says to her. He's nothing special. There's nothing interesting about Kazuya. Chizuru would disagree, because she saw something special in him. So when Kibe says he's nothing special, what the fuck? He's stupid, he's not good looking, he's not exactly in good shape, he's poor as dirt, and he's a total wimp. Did I mention he's stupid? None of these are things we all are. You didn't talk about his identity at all. You could have told her an interesting story about him. You could have talked about the Hibari Center some more. Instead, all of these are labels. Every single thing he said is a label. No matter how I look at it, he has just no business being with a girl like you. He puts Chizuru in shadows. She's like, I have no business being with him. What did he do here? He erased Chizuru's love in favor of her identity. Well, to put it in another way, he cares about you more than anyone else in the world. That's the kind of guy he is. What did he just do? He defined Kazuya by his love for Chizuru and nothing else. He thinks this is all Chizuru needs to hear. Nothing else. Not a single other aspect of Kazuya's character matters. All Kazuya is defined by is his love. That is it. His identity does not exist. It doesn't matter. However, in contrast, all that matters about Chizuru is specifically her identity, how perfect she appears. She's not stupid, she's good looking, and she's in shape. She's not super poor, and she's not a total wimp, and she's not stupid. Again, did I mention she's not stupid? Every single thing he just described is superficial. Chizuru is special, Kazuya is nothing special. And yet what Kibe does not realize is that in labeling Kazuya as nothing special, you have proven you don't know what special even means. Because Kazuya is special. Every single person is special. When you label people as nothing special, you have fundamentally misinterpreted people. That means you don't know him well enough to define what is special. Because every single person has something special about them. And Chizuru saw that for a fact. She saw how special he is with children. She saw how driven and how much perseverance he has. She saw that he is special and that he could make a fucking movie, whereas other people couldn't. Is this description not fitting of Kazuya's character? Who Kibe is describing here is not Kazuya, not to Chizuru. And so, both of them remain in the dark. That is the point of this visual here. They are mirrors in the dark because neither understand Kazuya. The difference is, one claims to, and one wants to. And again, both alienate Kazuya and place him in shadows as they are in shadows, because they do not see him. Kibe defines Kazuya by his love for Chizuru, not for who he actually is. What Chizuru came here for is to get to know Kazuya. Kibe says, is happiness found in being loved or is it found in loving someone? It's a boring question even over drinks. A lot happened, but in the end of the day, he'll make you happy. Nothing changes my mind about that. Chizuru remains in shadows. She doesn't doubt him either. But can she make him happy? Kibe never once, not a single person tells her how she can make him happy. No one even considers that's on her mind. No one even clocks that Chizuru might want to make Kazuya happy. Not even Kibe. And yet he asks her, do you love him? That's all he thinks about. Seriously, what am I doing? Now I'm even bothering Kibe-san about this. I need to find my answer already. Everyone keeps telling her the same thing. No one helps her. Do you love Kazuya? Oh, I'm supposed to say yes here without any hesitation. Kibe-san gave me his honest answer. I need to be more honest too. How do I respond? I love him. He's someone that He's a special person to her. Never mind. Again, what happens here? Someone sees something she doesn't, and she feels pathetic for it. He can tell she's in love, but she can't see it. Why can't Chizuru see it? Because every single person, even Kibe, in this moment, 2 seconds ago, erased her love. He literally deleted her love in favor of her identity. And yet he can see her love. So why can't she? I think it's interesting. How do I respond? I love the transition between this and this. Because she goes from doubt to instantly knowing. She instantly knows when she thinks of him here. Notice how it's not this. Notice how it's not all of this. It's not Kazuya looking cool. It's not Kibe saying he's going to make her happy. It's not his mom saying all this. It's this. Everything else doesn't matter. It all fades away when she sees his fucking smile. Every other thing fades. All she likes is his fucking smile. She just wanted to get to know more about that smile. So why do you think throughout the entire date, Chizuru is smiling? Why do you think the only thing Chizuru remembers in the end is Kazuya's smile? What do you think is going to get bastardized now for Chizuru? Kazuya's smile. That's what Reiji's setting up. Reiji is going to destroy Kazuya's smile for Chizuru. And then she's going to truly see him. She's going to look past and see the real him. It's about learning to look past someone's smile. Look past the beauty and how everything looks on the outside and see what's behind it. Let the smile get bastardized. It's okay. It's not a big deal. Because then you can see a real smile like that one. You can see another one. There's always another one. She looks herself in the face. Yeah. So I think that's what people are misunderstanding. Imagine if your friends from high school bully. Yep, that's Kibe. Kibe is not a bully. Kibe is a person who genuinely cares about Kazuya, but doesn't get him. I've had a lot of friends like this. My best friend for the longest time didn't fucking understand me. My best fucking friend for the longest time didn't understand me. I felt frustrated with him. I felt like he didn't fucking get me. Later, I started realizing I didn't get him either. And eventually, we started pushing things together, figuring it out. This was my best friend from high school. And we're still best friends. I was his best man at his wedding. Like here, I'm gonna zoom in. He fucking made me this. He fucking made me this. On his wedding, he was initially gonna have someone else that like was, you know, he thought was his best friend and be his best man, and he fucking bailed on the wedding. Like the piece of shit bailed on the wedding. And then in that moment, he realized I was his best friend because I stuck around and I showed up and I never bailed. So he made me the best man. And he's like, fuck, I'm an idiot. And I kept telling him, bro, he's going to fucking bail. He's a piece of shit. He's not going to fucking show up. And lo and behold, I was correct. Lo and behold, I was fucking correct. So yeah. It's a lot of life is about understanding the people around you and truly starting to see and look at them. Kibe's problem is that he doesn't see Kazuya, and I think he needs to start learning. So many of the characters in this story don't see each other. They're not actually looking. And Reishi is essentially writing, this is a problem. This is a problem that your best friend doesn't see you. Doesn't see what's interesting about you, doesn't think there's anything unique or interesting about your best friend. This is the dude you fucking grew up with, and he thinks there's nothing interesting about you. That's fucked up. Like, why are you his best friend if you don't think he's anything special? And that's the problem with Kibe, is like he needs to start looking at himself introspectively. He needs to start seeing why he doesn't see his friend. Nagomi is quite similar in that regard. Kibe is like Nagomi reincarnated as a boy. No. Kibe and Nagomi look at Kazuya in slightly different ways. Kibe is kind of so Kibe comes from a place of jealousy and admiration. And because of that, he doesn't see his friend clearly. He is a mirror to Minnie. Kibe is a direct mirror to Minnie. Minnie, in many ways, is the contrast to Kibe. Whereas Kibe thinks Kazuya is nothing special, but admires him and is jealous of him, Minnie is the total opposite. She idolizes the ever-living shit out of Kazuya as something totally special and totally perfect and the greatest things in sliced bread. But because she idolizes him as something so special and amazing, she makes him nothing special at all. Do you see the irony? Kibe, in seeing Kazuya as nothing special, makes Kazuya special. Minnie, in seeing Kazuya as such a special and amazing person, makes him nothing special. Then you have Nagomi. Nagomi is a little bit different. Nagomi is his grandma. She is the matriarch of the household. So for her, Kazuya being nothing special somewhat stems from her expectations as a motherly figure and trying to make him better, trying to improve him in how she believes she fucked up. With Nagomi, with Kibe and Minnie, it's about themselves. But with Nagomi, it's more about her failures. It's more about her failures when raising him. She thinks she fucked up. So she thinks she needs to help Kazuya improve and be better because she failed him as a parent. Nagomi spoiled him. So what is she doing? Ever since Nagomi spoiled him, she starts being really strict with him. Like uber stupid strict, to the point that she starts literally viewing him negatively. It's literally, you're too strict with him. You need to dial it back a little bit. You need to give him a sort of a positive push, but you need to dial back the strictness and stop being a hard ass. And just tell him you fucking love him, you stupid idiot, because you fucking love him. You love the shit out of your grandson, and you can't even fucking say it to him properly. And that's Nagomi's problem. Nagomi's problem is she literally doesn't know how to tell him, I fucking love you. Because she's trying so hard to fix him and to make him better and to be a better grandma. She's so busy trying to be a better fucking grandma, literally like Kazuya's trying to be a better fucking boyfriend, that she ultimately fails and makes him feel worse about himself. This is why Sayuri and Nagomi are such a perfect contrast to each other with how they deal with the other children, the other grandchildren. Sayuri is perfect for Kazuya because she's literally the emotional, you're doing good, you're not a fuck up, you're great as you are, support that he desperately needs, that Nagomi is failing to give him. In contrast, Nagomi is the stability and the acceptance Chizuru feels like she's not getting from Sayuri because she's afraid to open up to Sayuri because she views Sayuri as so strict. Because Sayuri, up until that point, was so fucking strict. Sayuri's constantly telling her, "Oh, like you're not opening up. You're not being honest. Why are you acting like this?" Sayuri, what you don't realize, is literally doing the same exact thing as Nagomi, but to Chizuru. Because she's constantly saying Chizuru is weak, Chizuru is not strong, Chizuru is fucking up, Chizuru is this and Chizuru is that, and ultimately, in the very end, she realizes she was fucking wrong. In the very end, on her fucking deathbed, she realizes how strong Chizuru is and says the words she needed to say the whole fucking time, I love you. She realizes she fucked up and she ultimately tells her the thing she just needed to goddamn say, I love you. And that is in many ways what Nagomi is starting to realize now. That is what Kibe is slowly but surely starting to realize now. That they are fucking up. That they're not saying the one thing they need to say to him. How ironic that Kazuya constantly feels the need to tell Chizuru, I love you, when everyone else needs to start fucking saying that to him. Everyone seems to think that Kazuya needs to tell Chizuru how he loves her harder, when they're the ones who need to start saying how much they fucking love him. How much he fucking matters to them. Do you see the fucking irony? That's the irony of the writing. That is what Reiji is writing. These characters that are constantly pushing Kazuya to say, I love you, need to just start fucking saying I love you to him. Because he fucking matters too. This is not toxicity. This is not toxicity. This is people who genuinely love you, failing to say so because they're not looking at themselves honestly. They're not being honest with themselves about the fact that they love you. It's not toxicity. Don't just toss words around. They become LARP. Okay? Don't do that shit. The fucking word LARP has lost its meaning. So many words have like lost their fucking meaning because we're just tossing them around. I see people constantly toss the word gaslighting around. They don't even know what the fuck it means. Like, mommy's gaslighting Chizuru the whole fucking time, and people are like, oh, no, she's not gaslighting. She's saying the truth. She's not fucking saying the truth. She's gaslighting her. She's gaslighting the shit out of Chizuru. She's gaslighting herself. No, what Kazuya has with his family isn't necessarily toxic. It is literally people learning that they're not being good support. That they're not actually being good support, but they aren't toxic because toxic relationships constantly make you feel bad. Kibe doesn't always make Kazuya feel bad. He's trying. He's putting in an effort. Nagomi doesn't always make him feel bad. She celebrates him sometimes. She does care for him. It does affect Kazuya terribly. That does not mean it's toxic. Not outright. It's an unhealthy relationship. However, if Kazuya does not voice this, if people don't recognize this, if no one points this out, you don't know you're being this way. That's the thing. I really genuinely think if Nagomi and Kibe realized they were being this way, they would actually take a step fucking back and like actually say, I'm sorry. Because we saw Nagomi fucking do this in Hawaiians. We literally saw Nagomi do this in Hawaiians, and no one gives her credit. She literally, she did it for the wrong reasons, mind you. She did it for the wrong reasons, but she literally took a step back and said, I'm sorry, I'm a terrible grandmother. I didn't see you honestly, and I judged you. I thank you for everything. You're a great fucking grandson. But what did she fail to do? She failed to say, I love you. Again, she's not realizing what she's doing wrong. A lot of these characters are literally shaped by their environments. Any one of these characters could have ended up this way. Chizuru could have ended up this way if she was in Mommy's position. If Mommy and Chizuru's roles were swapped, Chizuru would have been just like Mommy. That is just the truth. She would have been just like Mommy had she been in Mommy's position. And that is a huge thing for Chizuru to learn. That is how you help people change. A lot of people are just trapped in their environment. They don't know how to change. You just have to help them change. They don't know how to. They're stuck. They're trapped. They've been conditioned and taught for the longest time, this is how I should act. This is normal to act this way. They gotta unlearn that. That is what Reiji to me is setting up. He's setting up for people to unlearn all the bullshit that they have taught themselves. All the nonsense they've been conditioned and taught themselves. To show, literally like this chapter, the broken foundation. To show what real love is. To truly connect. To truly bond with other people. To look past that bullshit. And just say the words, I love you. And what Kazuya needs isn't for just Chizuru to say, I love you. He needs it from his family. He needs it from his friends. He needs Mommy to admit that she fucking cares about him. And she didn't just, and the way she broke up with him was terrible. People need to admit they did wrong things to him. No one is doing that. That's the sad truth. What Kazuya really needs to hear is, I love you, but not just from Chizuru. It's not simply Chizuru. He needs to hear it from the right people. He needs Nagomi to fucking say it. He needs Kibe to fucking say it. Kibe's gotta come up to him and be like, bro, I fucking love you. You're a great dude. I'm sorry. I need to be better. You're an amazing guy. I'm just jealous of you. I'm sorry. And he even started admitting he was jealous. When him and Kazuya made up, he literally admitted he was being jealous. Ugh. What about Ruka? She said she loved him. Ruka is the how could I love you be horribly timed? That's Ruka. That's Ruka. Ruka is, how could I love you be horribly timed, horribly placed, in all the wrong fucking ways? Ruka. Ruka, hold my orange juice. I can't have beer. I'm too young. Hold my orange juice. No, that's Ruka. Ruka is pretty much saying, I love you for all the wrong reasons. Ruka says, I love you when he doesn't want to hear it. Ruka says, I love you for all the wrong reasons. She never tells him why she loves him. She tells him, I love you, and then proceeds to assault him. Do you see the tragedy? Ruka is literally the flip of every character. Ruka is kind of his twisted mirror. Ruka tells him, I love you, and then proceeds to hurt him. In so doing, bastardizing the words, I love you. That is the tragedy of Ruka. Ruka is where love dies, both for her and for Kazuya. She has bastardized the meaning of love for herself and for Kazuya. The word "I love you" is shattered for him. She's abusing that, and she doesn't even know. She's literally made the word kind of hollow. That's the tragedy of Ruka's character. Ruka says, "I love you" for all the wrong reasons. If Ruka was a guy, he would end up in jail, and that's part of the point. I think a huge part of the point is that Ruka is a girl and gets to get away with things, and that's a privilege she's gonna have to realize. That one, she's young, and she can still learn, and this doesn't have to define her. I really think that's what Reiji is writing. One, Ruka did do something fucking horrible here, but she didn't know what she was doing, and this doesn't have to define her, but she has to fucking learn. Everything on Ruka's character is 100% hinged on her learning. She has to learn. Because if Ruka understands what she did and tries to take accountability for her actions, I think Ruka's character is not lost or destroyed. I still don't think Ruka's character is destroyed. This is all in Ruka's character. She's still a wonderful girl who did something horrible. And she has to realize that and take responsibility. She has to realize how she's bastardized love, how she's insulted love, how she's insulted Kazuya in the way that she's acting. No, you're right. Ruka would have been in a lot more trouble had she been a guy. And that is exactly the point. That is exactly 2000% the point. Because she's a girl, it looks more like a fantasy. 218 and chapter 404, which is the Ruka chapter where Ruka assaults him, are kind of like opposites trying to say something really similar. 218 is the boobs are the point. You have to be able to look at the boobs and be like, okay, I see that the boobs are the point because they're literally bastardizing love. With Ruka, it's the opposite. You have to look past the boobies. You gotta look, like Ruka's boobies are in your fucking face. It is literally presented like erotica. There's kind of a difference between how Ruka is presented and how Kazuya's delusion in 218 is presented. A huge part of it is framing. The framing for 218 is more like pornography, intentionally so. It's more like pornography. It's sensationalized, but it's kind of gross. It's like 218 is intentionally very gross, very, very fucking weird. So while it is sensationalized, it makes you feel uncomfortable. It leans into uncomfortability. It literally feels gross and disgusting because it's literally trying to be. It is literally depraved and gross and disgusting because that is literally how you demean love. And it's very fitting that Ruka, right before Kazuya imagines this, tells him I love you. Literally the worst fucking time to say I love you. And she never even clocks it. She doesn't realize Kazuya is not reacting to her. She doesn't realize Kazuya is not being his usual self. It never even crosses her mind. She's so busy trying to say, I love you, she never even notices he's not okay. Flip the script, chapter 404. 404 is literally the opposite. Boobies are in front of you the whole time, and it's not like pornography. It is erotica. This shit is horny, like unfathomably horny. Holy shit. Oh my God. I had to like kind of step back a little bit and kind of control what I'm saying because that shit is horny as fuck. But with Ruka, you got to look past the boobs. You got to look at the actions. When you start looking at the actions, when you start seeing what she's actually doing, suddenly it's not erotica anymore. Suddenly, oh, I'm watching rape. Oh, this is fucked up. That's literally where Reiji's going for. He's leveraging presentation. He's leveraging framing. In leveraging the framing that it looks like erotica, he lets people enjoy it intentionally. You know, it's kind of like a guilty pleasure for them. But then when he recontextualizes it, when he changes the framing, suddenly you're like, I was enjoying someone else's pain. That I'm fucked up. So I'm enjoying someone else's pain. Oh my god, I'm a terrible fucking person. 218 is literally like this. 218 is literally built around this idea too. That you hate Kazuya, not realizing he hates himself. If you enjoy 218, you're literally like beating your meat to fucking pornography. And you're not realizing how it's literally bastardizing someone's emotions. You're literally beating your meat to someone's emotions being bastardized and insulted and someone looking terrible. If anything, think of 218 as a criticism of NTR. 218 is literally a criticism of NTR because it is foundationally built on Kazuya's emotions up until this point. You have 218 chapters of investment in Kazuya's feelings, and they are bastardized. They are literally bastardized. So if you actually care about Kazuya's character, you will hate this chapter. You will fucking hate this chapter. You view this chapter out of context, you might hate Kazuya, fundamentally misunderstanding the point. It is not a chapter meant to be read out of context. If you just read it to beat your meat, it's just another day of NTR. Not realizing the chapter is literally calling you out. Not realizing the chapter is literally calling you out on your bullshit. You're into some weird pornography shit and you don't really give a shit about emotions. You're just here to dilute yourself. You're just here to not give a shit about feelings. And the battery's gone. Of course, because I did not plug the charger like a dumb bitch. Yeah, so for 218, you literally don't care about emotions. Yeah, the phone is charging up. I'm actually gonna end soon, to be honest. I've been streaming for 2 hours or so. So yeah, I'll let the phone charge up. I don't know how I'll continue. I don't feel like reading anything from Reddit. I'm gonna go to. Here, give me a sec. I'm gonna go to Twitter and see what Twitter has to say. If there's anything interesting from Twitter. Okay. Oh yeah, Invincible comes out tomorrow. It's the last episode. Granted, I already read the comics, but I don't know how they're going to change things, so I'm always down to watch. I actually started rewatching Invincible. Season 1 is really good, but then season 2 is kind of weaker. Season 2 is like a lot weaker. Not just like the story's okay, but like visually it's weaker. I felt like there were some things in the comic that were a little better. I felt like Debbie falling apart in the comic was a lot stronger than it was in the animation. What Reiji did in Chapter 218 reminds me of what Miura did in The Eclipse from Berserk. Two genius mangakas wanted the reader to feel disgusted and uncomfortable in a genius way. Hmm. I have to think about that. I haven't read The Eclipse in a while. It was gross and uncomfortable. You're not wrong. But I don't know. I haven't read The Eclipse in a while. It doesn't feel the same. It doesn't feel the same, in my opinion. Like I understand what you're trying to say. But it doesn't feel quite the same. Because with Miura, it's a betrayal, but the reason it's not the same for me is that while it is a betrayal and you got a decent amount of chapters to invest in these characters, it wasn't like 218 chapters being made to feel wasted. The thing with the Eclipse, the reason it's different for me is because you knew it was coming. Miura intentionally starts you at the very beginning with guts alone. And he intentionally tells you this is a flashback. So you kind of know the Eclipse is coming. And you're just waiting to watch the horror, and the horror is more than you could have ever expected. 218 is the complete opposite. You don't see 218 coming. You never even expect it coming. It feels like it's a betrayal in more ways than you could have ever possibly imagined. I would argue, and don't hate me for this one, I would argue the betrayal 218 presents is stronger, not simply because it's just for the characters, but for you as the reader. You are being betrayed. You have had so much buildup and so much investment, and that investment is intentionally betrayed and bastardized, intentionally so. The manga goes out of its way to fucking betray you. Whereas with Berserk, you can hate fucking Griffith. You know, you kind of knew it was coming. You saw Griffith before you've had the flashback. You were just waiting to see how he's going to turn out. Like, you had all the signs to know Griffith was a piece of shit. You know, it was just kind of a matter of seeing how it would turn out. You knew the Eclipse was coming in some way, shape, or form. You just never knew how grotesque it was going to be. Yes, the Eclipse is gross, absolutely. I agree with you on that front. I just think the fundamental idea of betrayal hits harder in 218 because it's not only betraying Kazuya, it's not only Kazuya's emotions being betrayed and violated, it's yours. Your emotions are betrayed and violated. And that's the point. That's the intention. The intention is to feel that betrayal and violation. It's emotional violation. It's visual violation. Whereas with the Eclipse, it's mostly about guts, and you're kind of angry and frustrated and feeling gross. But you're not angry at Miura. You think it's good writing. That's the thing. You think it's good writing. And you knew it was coming. So it's your anger is not directed at Miura so much as it is like at Griffith. You know, he made Griffith more hateable. Here, you hate everything. You almost hate the story. 218 almost makes you hate the story, which is kind of fucking incredible because that was low-key the intention. It's meant to make you angry. It's meant to make you mad, but at the same time, it's a betrayal that's for some too much. I think a lot of people took it too far. I think a lot of people got too angry and they kind of missed the fucking point. And they kind of misunderstood. And some people even say, like I was talking to someone the other day, they said it's a nothing burger, which I think is really insulting for Reiji as a writer to perceive it as a nothing burger, because Reiji went out of his way to the head editor for chapter 218 to be serialized. He really wanted to put this chapter out. Like he's straight up went to the head editor. He bypassed his own editor and he went to his magazine editor and he's like, let me put this. And the dude said, okay. Like that's how big of a deal this was to him. Chapter 218 is fundamental to the writing of Rent-a-Girlfriend. It is core to its story. It is about image and betrayal and literally your love being bastardized, because so much of Rent-a-Girlfriend is literally exploring this idea of how the world will try to destroy your love, how in sensationalizing sex and the way media sells you sex, it has demeaned and destroyed love. It has bastardized love. It has depraved it of its meaning. Deprived it of its meaning. And because of that, Rent-a-Girlfriend is about looking at that and saying, I will still keep dreaming. This is why it is directly paired with Mami shattering Chizuru's smile, shattering her image as a direct mirror to how Kazuya imagined Chizuru with Umi smiling, which bastardizes his view of her smile. Kazuya's view of her smile is bastardized just as Mami bastardizes Chizuru's smile to Nagomi. literally saying she always keeps smiling no matter what. And it fundamentally shatters your perception of the manga. It is about ruining Chizuru's image. It is about ruining Kazuya's image. And it is telling you, look past that. Stop looking with what you're immediately seeing and truly see these characters. Reiji, in many ways, I think, was banking on people truly seeing Kazuya's character. And many people just simply didn't. I recall he was very disappointed in the reception to chapter 218, in particular because nobody saw Kazuya's pain. He was just really disappointed in how people reacted. He wasn't so much upset that his writing was received poorly. He kind of expected that. He just thought it was completely overblown. But he was just kind of sad that nobody sees Kazuya's character, that he suffers and goes through so much, and everyone just thinks he's a cuck. And it's just sad, you know? It's just so fucking tragic. And Reiji leverages that. That's why he rewrites the ending. He rewrote the ending of Hawaiian specifically because of how people perceived Kazuya's character and Chizuru's character. He leverages that idea of they're a bad person. And he proceeds to write this entire arc around that. Okay. So I'm not seeing anything on Twitter. Seems kind of quiet right now. I saw some fans comment. Let me see if there's anything else. Oh, look, it's all my posts. Okay. Okay. Well, I'll call it here for now because tomorrow we're gonna watch the anime. Now, I'm not gonna stream until a little later, unfortunately, because I have work, so I won't be home until like 12 or 12:30, and I won't start the stream until like maybe 1 or 1:30. I'll see. Sorry it ended so abruptly. I was yeah, the camera just kind of died. Plus I was a little tired. Definitely gonna work on my sleep. That's a big thing. Definitely gotta work on my sleep. Huh. So there's a leak that Tifa is gonna be in Street Fighter. Holy shit. I might play Street Fighter on stream. If Tifa is actually gonna end up in Street Fighter, I'll play Street Fighter on stream. Like, no fucking hesitation. I'm not even kidding. Straight up. If Tifa actually ends up in Street Fighter, I'll play it on fucking stream. I'll get good at Street Fighter, dude. I'll like actually fucking get good at Street Fighter. I've put off getting good at Street Fighter. I'll actually fucking get good at Street Fighter if it means Tifa's in there. I'll actually like invest in being better at video games. Okay. So I'm not seeing a whole lot right now. I don't feel like reading Reddit. Oh yeah, you guys can't see anything. Yeah, I don't feel like reading Reddit right now. Just kind of not on the mood. And I feel like I could write some stuff for the chapter, but I'm not quite sure where to approach it from. It does seem to be a big foundational issue and a big misunderstanding. Okay, so we had this portion. All right, I think I've cut down about half of it. I think it's really intentional that you don't see what Kazuya cut. I think it's really intentional that we do not see what Kazuya cut. I've been staring at this for so long that it doesn't even make sense to me anymore. Flames are obviously out. I've been looking at it since yesterday. If stars are out, then what about flames, or are flames okay? I have no idea what is and isn't necessary. Okay, interesting. You see power lines, and then you see Kazuya plugging his phone into a portable charger. That's really interesting because literally his phone is connected to something. It's literally like on life support, whereas you have like an actual power line that's connected, and then that's contrasted with Kazuya literally being alone. So a power line representing connection, his phone literally being connected to something, but he walks alone. He doesn't see what's wrong. It's not a bad idea to be confident, but like Yamori-san said, I shouldn't overcommit. On the other hand, if it's too simple, then I'm worried Mizuhara won't understand how I feel. It's like he fundamentally misunderstands balance. That's kind of cool. He's fundamentally misunderstanding balance. Man, when it comes to this stuff, the only thing I can do is keep pushing it, keep polishing it. So he just keeps polishing instead of actually working. It's really ironic he says this because he needs to start polishing himself. And I mean that in the sense that he needs to start actually appreciating and taking care of himself instead of doing all the bullshit that he's doing. I wasn't here when you talked about the infamous water park scene of what Kazuya did, what happened, because a lot of people online called him the worst MC. Yeah, a lot of people did and do. They still do. They still absolutely call him the worst MC because Kazuya literally doesn't live up to their image. And there's an irony in that, considering that's literally the fucking, like, the point of the confrontation in the water park, where everyone is upset at Kazuya for not living up to their image. Everyone is like, you're not who I imagined you to be. Everyone starts saying that to Chizuru. It's really fucking ironic. I've got to make restaurant reservations. It's better to make preparations sooner than later. Regardless, this isn't easy at all. Interesting. A driving date in the city doesn't sound very fun. Even if I search for date spots outside the city, only places like this and a faraway amusement park comes up. Okay, there's a lot here. Okay, so he that's funny. It's because he can just do these trips. There's like no issues with doing these trips. And it's really funny. He keeps imagining saying, I love you. I love you. He keeps imagining himself just saying, I love you now. Which is really ironic because that's what he wants to hear. Like Hiyamori-san said, if I overcommit, Mizuhara might get weirded out. I need to maintain a certain level of freshness. That's what's wrong. He needs to overcommit. He needs to go all in. That's the problem. He's not going all in. Just commit. A place for couples within 2 hours of the city, and we can spend the whole day there. It's yeah, so this is what's confusing to me. This literally doesn't align with July 11th. So unless there's another July 11th showing, this makes no sense. Weird. It's only there for 3 more times, the 24th, the 30th, and the 31st. But not the 11th of July. So what good is this? It makes you wonder if this is like a misdirect. It really makes you wonder if this is like a misdirect. And he's just scrolling through Twitter. How weird. Okay, so I think I'll call it here. I'll see you guys later. It's been off. My camera's been off this whole time, so it doesn't fucking matter. And then I'll just call it for here. We'll continue tomorrow. Hopefully we'll watch the anime. I'm curious if the kiss will happen at the very end. I kind of doubt it. I could see it maybe ending with Mommy saying then... No, it won't end with Mommy saying then kiss her. It might end with Ruka defending Kazuya. Are you watching any animes this season? If so, what do you recommend? I actually haven't been watching much anime lately. I don't know why. I've just been watching Invincible. That's kind of it. I've just been watching Invincible. I should be watching more. There's probably more to watch, but I just kind of haven't been watching anything. Maybe that's on me. Maybe that's on me. I could be watching more stuff. I don't know what's out. I would have to kind of actually look. But I haven't really been watching all that much. I'll look into it later. Okay, I'll see you guys later. Take care. Have a good